Well,
or
finally we
swisher.
got you, bro. We've been playing
I know.
tag for like months now.
I know. It's just been a lot of fun tag. A
Indeed.
lot of fun
I
tag.
was I was just telling Carrot that we actually all went to school together. We just didn't hang out in the same crowds for the most part, but we all went to school together at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean we did cross paths a few times, but yeah,
Indeed.
mainly because of the different cliques back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And it was a really big school too. Like, I
Oh
mean,
man.
my freshman June through junior year, I was there, and it's a big school. And senior year, I don't know if you knew this, but I actually moved to Texas and went to a much smaller school. And so I got a real appreciation for like that Chandler was really big, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chandler was a
It had
massive school.
so much to offer. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
It was
Massive
to
place.
me, Chandler High felt like if you wanted a career in something, then it could be a small idea or a big idea. There are classes you can take that'll get you there.
Oh yeah, no, they had FFA, ROTC, they had a print class, there was robotics class. Dude, they had everything there. Like I really took that school for granted when I was going there because you know how high school kids are.
Yep.
We're just fucking, it wasn't that long ago we
Yeah.
were one, but like, dude, it's kind of nuts some of the nostalgia you get. Like, I'll drive by it every now and then when I'm working over in Chandler, and I'll just look at that place like, damn. Compared to some of the high schools people I served with, where the graduating class was like maybe 40 people in a small town, and they had shop class, and they had home ec, and that was it. And I'm like, I was spoiled. I was
Yeah.
spoiled.
More electives than we could choose from, and like after activities that are like set you up to work on stuff for real.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Well, crazy.
Well, we
Small world. It's good to hear from you. I'm glad.
indeed,
Yeah.
and to see you pop up on an ad for medieval times, like it's nuts because I saw you, dude. I saw you. And I'm like, I know that. You know that meme where it's I think they take it out of the Great Gatsby or something, and he's clapping. He's like, I know that guy. I know
Yeah.
him. So that's when I hit you up, and I'm like, bro, that's so cool. That's so cool. We are recording, by the way, but since we're kind
I
of getting
figured.
into one of the topics on hand, introduce yourself, brother. Give yourself a little intro. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up as a modern day knight, dude, because that's sick. You have my dream job.
Yeah, so for the people that don't know, my name's Isaiah. I am 28, gonna be 29 here pretty soon. I'm feeling the 30 number
It's
calling,
coming
and
it's
it's
coming fast. It's coming hard, bro. I
yeah,
understand, and I'm just as unhappy about it as you are.
yeah. But with my job, man, I need that as much good health as I can keep.
Oh,
So
100%, dude.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
100%.
and yeah, so as you mentioned, I am a modern day knight, as you most people would say, working at medieval times. Landing it was actually a really interesting time because I had just got done doing college, and a friend of mine from those college days a few years later was reached out to me hearing about medieval times and said, "Hey, so I know you've taken a lot of dance classes and like theater classes in college. Since I know you like performing, I figured this might be a job for you." So I honestly did not even know medieval times was a thing.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea about it. Never been to the any of the other locations that are throughout the country. Like just never knew it was a thing. And so
You just
I
gotta land in your lap.
yeah, it really
That's so cool, dude.
I will honestly say it's God's gift to me. Like without any knowledge of this job for it to just land on my lap, I was like, huh. So I did my research about it, watched a couple YouTube videos about it. I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. This actually seems kind of cool. I applied, and thankfully enough, there was the castle that we have here in Scottsdale opened up in 2019. So yeah, it was probably a rough time for them for the first couple of years, but I joined in 2022. Yeah, early 2022, and so there was still like building up from there, like with the amount of employees that they needed, like how the castle should be run, like what's good, what's
Yeah,
bad, just still trying to work out the kinks as much as possible. It was still in the early stages,
yeah, and
essentially.
it's infancy, kind of working through it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so uh back then it was pretty much if you got the interview and they liked you, you had the job because they kind of
That's awesome.
needed the people. So I it was pretty much like, yeah, it fell on my lap and I was immediately given the opportunity to try to work at the company. And I was like, well, this must be something that I need to do then because was a little too easy.
Absolutely. I mean,
Until
sometimes they fall on your lap, man, and you got to just take them for what they are. It's the little things.
Exactly. And so I was very grateful for that. And I did have to start off as a squire. So learning how the show is, learning how to groom the horses. And just as an FYI, I had nothing to do with horses nor
I
sword
was just
working,
about
like
to ask.
swordmanship.
I was
Yeah,
just
like I
about
had
to ask if
no
you had any prior
experience.
horsemanship experience. 'Cause I grew up riding horses. My sister and I rode in rodeos since ever since we were kids, and
Yeah.
it's not easy to take to like right away. It's not.
No, it really isn't. And so, yeah, with no work like experience on how to swing a weapon and or ride a horse, I had to learn how to do all of that. But on the ground, so running in the sand, trying to get fit enough to be able to like, because the horses are heavy, and when you're on the ground and they want to freak out or try to mess with you. Like they're heavy, dude. two
Oh yeah.
thousand pound animals of just pure muscle that can just say "f you" if they want to
Oh
and
yeah.
drag
Well,
you across the arena.
Oh
correct me
yeah,
if I'm wrong, but the specific breed that you guys use, that's what they're bred for. Like to teach a horse to run head first at another horse, you have to break so many like natural instincts in an animal to make it do that. It's
Yeah, so the desensitizing process is actually a very interesting one because it's not like you're trying to like as most people would say beat the fear out of them. It's more so of the fact you're trying to introduce them. So a lot of the horses that we usually get from the medieval times ranch where we breed our own horses, a lot of the times how they desensitize them to like the flags or like the sound of swords or even plates clanking or
Mhm.
clapping even because sometimes they
yeah,
when they come in they're going from a ranch into an arena where
Arena.
it's
Yeah.
surrounded. So
right. And there's a lot
they
going on.
yeah, the lights changing, the sounds. The, so you just slowly introduce it bit by bit, and over time, it usually takes about 3 to 6 months, depending on the horse. There's some horses that are very like lazy, and you try to desensitize them, but they just don't care. They're just like, I'm here, I'm having fun. Oh, look, it's a person. I'm going to nuzzle on this person. And we're swinging flags and swords in their face. And they're like, eh. Those are the
I
Nice.
horses
wanted
that
to,
are like, okay, we can put this horse in today if we wanted to.
Yeah, because they're not gonna freak out. They're used to whatever's going on. Like
Well,
the,
not even
I think
that.
it's
Well,
just them being exposed to stuff happening and them subconsciously knowing that they're not in danger.
yeah, exactly. And then we'll get the more skittish horses where it'll take more of the 6 months to like hey, it's okay. Like stuff's gonna be going around and your mind's gonna be racing, but as long
Mhm.
as you're calm and you're listening to me over
You'd be all right.
the fear in your brain, then we're good.
Dude, there's in my experience with horses, I mean animals in general, but with my experience with horses, they're just like human beings. There's not a single one that's going to be alike to another. They all have their own like they all have their own personalities. You know, there was this one horse I used to ride back in my rodeo days. His name was Bowie, and he was an older
Mhm.
horse, man. Like he retired from racing in his 20s because he was a specimen. That animal quicker than lightning and smart as a whip. Dude, he could run a barrel circuit and on a radio, like out in a rodeo with no rider.
Yeah.
Like you put a saddle on this horse, open the gate in front of him, and he sees barrels. He'd go run the pattern and run back to the gate. You didn't like that's just how
You
that horse
didn't need
was.
to ride him.
You didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't need just like you didn't even need reins. You just had to hang on, basically. And then there were other horses we grew up riding. So there was a set of twins. They weren't really twins, but we called them twins. They were a pair of paints. They were actually brothers, came from the same mother and father, just
Yeah.
different years. And these two boys, one of them was dumber than a box of rocks. Okay, like dumber than a box of rocks. The other one, a little bit more smart, a little bit more smart. And they both loved to test you. Like loved to test you. They would try to get away with anything. You turn your back for a minute, they're gonna try to excuse me, too much coke. They're gonna try to nip the back of your neck, or like if you have a ponytail, they're gonna try to like pull on your ponytail. Like that's how these two horses were. I remember one time I'm riding Sky, and he's the bigger one of the two. Younger, but bigger
Yeah.
one of the two. This horse jumps all four hooves off the ground trying to buck me off. I am 8. I am 8 years old. And I just take the riding crop that I have in my hand because the owner of the horses, she said, if he misbehaves out there, you let him know. So she gave me this little riding crop, and I'm an 8-year-old kid on a
Yeah.
2,000-pound animal, just telling him,
Yeah.
Sky, no! Smack him on the ass once, and he freezes dead solid in the middle of the arena, and everybody's just like, oh, you could hear a pin drop out there. And I said, like, I just
Oh.
kicked my heels once, and he finished the pattern. And I get back, dude. I tie him up onto his post. I go back over to Betty, and I'm sitting there shaking, like, oh my god, that was
Yeah. So
that was
unreal.
nuts. No, it was completely unreal. Like I was in shock for sure, but then later it dawned on me. I'm like, I just got something that outweighs me by more math than I can do.
Yeah.
I made it stop. Like I made it listen. Like I felt like a badass after that. I'm not gonna lie, but
Good old yeah.
yeah, dude,
Oh,
horses will humble you in the wildest. Animals in general, they will humble you in the wildest of ways.
yeah. I
Like
even have a story of how one horse in particular humbled me so bad. So
we're all about
we had a
stories.
we had a horse named Waco, spelt like wacko, WACO.
Uh,
Haha. You could probably guess from that name what type of personality he had.
oh, without a
But
doubt.
but he wasn't like the crazy type of horse in the way that you would expect. He's not one to like nip or bite or try to kick at you or anything like that. He was a very smart horse. He would mess with you in so many other ways.
He was one that was
Well,
smart enough to test you.
yeah, no, like it tests you so bad, and he was so quick on how
Yep.
he wanted to test you. Like,
They're so smart,
so
dude.
well, right now he's retired. We sent him back to the ranch just because he was getting too smart for everybody. Like he was getting sent to like 2 different castles or 3 different castles, and was messing up with everybody. So they were just like, you know what? He can live the rest of his life in peace. And so they just sent
Yeah.
him back to the ranch. But he, we used to have a lot of falls, as we would say, because we have a new show now. In our previous show, we had a lot of falls where we would joust and get knocked off our horse. And with Waco, there were a few times where he would test you as you're about to essentially fall off the horse. He would try to veer in the way that you're falling. So either you fall back into the saddle, or it almost felt like he was going to run you over
He was
as you jumped off.
anticipating it. He was
Yes.
anticipating he knew it was gonna happen. That
My
And
gosh.
and so there were a few times where, because he would jerk right at the moment that I would jump off, I would just fall back into the saddle and ride back through the curtain, and then just have to run back out into the arena. Sure, it's a little bit embarrassing, but you know what? For the safety of longevity, I'll risk
Right.
looking dumb for like 30 seconds, and then we get into a fight and people forget about it. So
yeah, dude, I would rather get stepped on by a barrel horse that I used to ride. All like, granted, Sky was the biggest of the bunch. Like he could have been one of your guys's jousting horses. Like that's how he's built. He's
Mhm.
built like one of those hunter jumpers. But the Bowie, the one that I described, he was an Arabian mix. I think he was an Arabian quarter horse mix. So he was kind of smaller, a lot
Oh,
lighter. I'd rather get stepped
yeah.
on him all day long than the giants that you boys ride. Those things are beefy. They beefy, dude.
Yeah.
It looks like they just walked right off of a medieval battlefield. Those things they look like they should. They look like they
Oh,
should, dude. They look like war horses. That's
I mean, we train them like such. So, how the process, at least from what I've seen and got to experience and learn, I mean, I haven't trained a horse yet, but I'm trying to get there. But the process that I've seen when you're training a horse from scratch, they come in kind of skinny. Like they look like they have no muscle on them, or
the
if they
young ones
do,
do,
it's
yeah.
not as pronounced. Yeah, it's not as
Mhm.
pronounced or anything. And so for months, as we're desensitizing them, riding them, lunging them, you know, feeding them the type of alfalfa and Bermuda that we do, and trying to work them out as much as possible. When they're ready for the show, that's when you see them in their warhorse stage, and they're like
Mhm.
all beefed up because they're
Yeah.
so used
Boom.
to
Just
moving
jacked.
sideways. Yeah,
Mhm.
not just forward and backwards. They're going
No, you guys
sideways.
work
They're
those
going in
animals. Yep.
diagonals, like in
They're working
circles. So
all
we're
muscles that most horses
You
don't. Yeah. You
That's what
guys
yeah,
I
you
was
guys are
just
really doing
about to
right.
say, is all those side muscles and stuff, man. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Like we train these horses so that way they are essentially the alpha, like the top
Mhm.
tier type of horses that we get to ride.
Like
And
Olympic
man,
level
some of them
athletes,
are,
these horses.
oh my gosh, and they're so gifted. There's some that are just automatically gifted. They may not look like war horses, but they can do everything that we ask them to do. And then there are some horses that, even though they take some time, once they get there, it's almost like a diamond in the rough type of
Yep.
thing. Like, wow,
Light switch
we
goes
were
on.
expecting this horse to not be this great, but look at it now. It's he's beyond our expectations.
Horses, I know people always they like to get, especially in the reptile community, people like to get all huffy when you like kind of personify an animal, like when you start putting
Yeah,
human type attributes to animals. But horses are so much like humans. W- When
dude.
one's growing up, they're super gangly. They're all legs. They're all
Hmm.
legs and teeny tiny little heads. And then as they get older, they're still gangly. They come into their teenage years, and that's when you're starting to work with them. And they're all gangly and awkward, and they still don't know how to work those big long legs. And then once they get into their
Yeah,
prime, you can tell they're in their prime, and you're like, damn. And then as they start to age, some of that weight drops, that spine starts to get more pronounced, as the saddle wears
yeah,
in, and they slow down, but the good ones like Bowie, and I'm probably that horse you were describing earlier. They're gonna stay sharp, even in their old age. They'll stay sharp. Then they'll remember. They'll remember. Those animals they're way more intelligent than people give them credit for. Horses.
oh,
They're
oh,
they're amazing.
oh yeah, and I had the opportunity of going over to the Dallas Castle because they were asking for help since some of their knights went on vacation, and had time off. So as we went over there, I had the opportunity to go to that ranch, and I was curious because of Waco. I wanted to see how he was doing, and I went out there, and lo and behold, like one of the very few, like the first few horses that I saw there was Waco, and I could tell Waco recognized me and also like remembered me, because I always treated the horses in our stalls, no matter if they were trying to like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, let me bite at you, let me try to knock you off your feet or something, right? No matter if they tried to do anything, I'm always calm and I'm always like, it's okay, bud. We'll get through this together, type of thing. And because of that, he actually came up to me, and instead of trying to mess with me, he nuzzled into me and was like, oh my gosh, I remember you. Hi. And
They
I was
know.
like, oh, this is the best feeling ever. I'm glad you remember me, Waco. I was able to hug him and everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
That is
it was
awesome.
a good feeling.
So
Magical feeling.
usually we split this up to where, because we're gonna have a couple things to talk about, but we're talking about horsemanship right now. And I've asked some
Hmm.
of my questions, and usually we split the show up to where about halfway through the show, Carrot will ask some of the mental health aspects about your like the hobby or the lifestyle that you live and how it's helped you. But let me ask you about the horses real quick. What is
Okay.
the horsemanship aspect of your lifestyle, of your job, done for you mentally? Because almost everybody I've ever talked to that lives or works with horses, it does a lot for them.
It really has. And what it's done for me is teach me a lot of patience, for one, just because the horses don't speak English. We don't speak horse. So we have to try to find a common ground to where we can understand each other. And having the patience to be like, hey, I need you to do this, but you may not have asked it, like asked to, let's say, to canter. You didn't ask to canter in the right way. So the horse starts trotting or like passaging or even Spanish walking to do something else than what you asked. It You can't, over time you can get frustrated because you're like, no, I'm just trying to get you to canter. But then you have to remember, like, I they're not understanding me. I must not be communicating clearly. Let me hold back. Let me reassess myself, reassess my legs, where my hands are, how much contact I have, how much pressure on my legs I have on the horse. All right, now let me try it this way. It's pretty much the same thing I did before, but with more intention now. And boom, now he canters. It's like, okay, so now I realize it was me. I was the problem. And so having to learn the patience of being like, I'm doing something wrong, for the horse to not give me what I want right away, that's been a big thing for me.
That is
Yeah,
very well said. That is very
yeah,
well
it
said.
is.
Because, it's very humbling to realize that as frustrated as we might get when we're trying to work with a horse, and I guess this applies to other animals too, like if you have a dog and stuff, like trying to get a certain outcome to happen and communicate that with the animal, you got to have a lot of patience, and then realizing, like you said, like how you're communicating and how they're receiving the communication is different for every animal, so you got to kind of learn the nuance every time you get on a new horse.
Exactly. And so, and another big thing is relaxation. Because when I first started riding, I mean, yes, I still can be a little tense and a little nervous while on a horse that I'm not used to. But when I first
Sure.
started to learn how to ride, you're obviously higher off the ground than you're used to, and even though you're falling in sand, you're falling off a big distance, even if
Still
it is
hurts.
just 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Technically, it's still
Yep.
gonna hurt. It's still gonna rattle you a little bit.
Yep.
Um,
Right.
so having to learn how to relax yourself, to let the horse move the way it wants to move, and for your body to move with the horse instead of against the horse. So that way their backs are not feeling like, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't feel comfortable to have with me. Let's just get this
The
over with. And
rhythm.
yeah,
The rhythm.
Yeah, a
and
lot of times,
the big,
other people.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the big thing that we have is called the pyramid of training when it comes to the horses, and the first three things is rhythm, relaxation, and connection. If you don't have rhythm with the horse, you can't get the
Yeah.
horse to relax, and if you
Mhm.
can't get the horse to relax, you can't be connected with the horse. And if you can't
Yep.
get those three, then everything else on the pyramid is gonna fall flat.
Yep.
So
That is so
yeah.
true. I haven't heard it like that before, but that is very true.
No, it makes so much sense, dude.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. Yeah, people often don't understand too that when a horse is really, especially if it's one that's been ridden by the same rider or just a few different people for its entire life, when someone new gets on its back, it's oftentimes just as stressful for the animal as it is for that person, you know?
Yes.
And it'll take some time for them to adjust to each other. That was something
Yeah.
that I found out at a young age, dude. Like when I got used to Bowie being the way that that animal was, like he could just, run a circuit and I don't have to touch the reins once. I just got to hold on. I went from
Yeah.
him to Sky. I went from an animal that he already knew what you wanted him to do before you even knew you wanted him to do it, to
Hmm.
one that wants to basically play fuck around and find out with an 8-year-old with a whip.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is very different.
it's super different, and it, it's it's often funny the dynamic. It really is because every horse is different. Every single one is different, and every person is different. And
Hmm.
it's just like combining different flavors. You never know what you're gonna get sometimes. Never know what you're
Yeah,
gonna get.
I I learned from my horse riding experience that I have a soft seat versus a hot seat. So a hot seat is when you can get any horse to run, whether they be lazy, whether they already are hot, quote unquote, like they're ready to go whenever.
Mhm.
Though a hot seat is just basically you're always excitable. You can give the horse as much energy as they need to get them going, no matter what. I have
Okay.
a soft seat where I have such a calm seat that I can take a lot of the more stress or anxiety, like mentally like hardened type of horses, and get them to relax. I I take that as a compliment, but I also don't like that. I wish I had a hot seat because there are some horses in our barn that they're so lazy, and no matter
Yeah,
what I
they'll take
try to do,
advantage of that. They
Yeah.
will. They will, bro.
big time. Oh my
God.
gosh, the amount of times that I would get on a lazy horse and I would warm them up right before we go right out into the show, and they give me everything that I want, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a good show. And then once we go out there, I'm like, I trust you, and they take that trust and throw it into the ground, and they're like, fuck
This
you,
is
big
what you
boy.
get for being kind-hearted.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, now I gotta be
Now I gotta
mean to you in front of all of these people.
now I gotta be dick.
Dang.
Now I gotta be dick. This is why they used spurs back in the day. Because
Yeah.
I only
Um,
ever had to use spurs once, dude. Once. And I didn't want to. I didn't like it.
yeah.
I
I don't
didn't
like
I,
using spurs.
I only ever had to use it once. And yeah, let's just say Sky learned and I learned that we both never needed to use them again. That's that's all
Mm.
that's the best way for me to describe
That's
that story.
hey, that's the best lesson that both of you can learn together. As that exact moment
We
is
both learned.
maybe that was too much.
Did
Let's
that
never
horse
get
and
to that
I
point.
Yeah, dude, that horse and I, we learned a lot together, he and I. We basically grew up together. I started riding in rodeos when I was 4 and I stopped around middle school so I could start playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
And my sister Tatum, she stuck with it. and now she basically lives on a ranch in Texas and teaches kids how to ride, which is
Oh
she's
wow.
living her dream. Yeah, she's living her dream life. Um, yeah, dude,
Dude, she really is,
yeah,
man.
my sister's doing good. I'm proud of
That's
her.
awesome.
I
That's
love her.
awesome.
I'm really proud of
She's
her. She can
absolutely-
also float your horse's teeth and do all kinds of other stuff. Like she knows a thing or two about horses, dude. It's really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, one thing that I had no idea about horses is how much smelling capabilities that they have. How I was
Oh
taught,
yeah.
yeah, how I was taught is that dogs have about 10 times the much smelling capacity as humans, while as horses have 100 times the smelling capacity than a dog.
Yeah,
So
dude. It's true.
Wow.
Dude,
they
do you know
can
why horses are
literally
successful in the
smell
desert?
fear on you.
Yeah, they can smell your hormones change, and they can smell water from a ridiculous amount of like miles away. That's why they're successful desert dwellers. That's why
Yeah,
there's herds surviving here in Arizona. They can smell water for miles, just like donkeys. They can smell water for miles. They're
it's
it's insane.
yeah. So when I learned that they can really smell if you're scared of them, that's when they want to mess with you and they fuck
Oh
around
yeah,
and oh my gosh. So having to put on a mask, well, you're nervous and try to like tell your body you're
you
not
can't hide it.
scared. Where in the back of your mind you are scared. Oh,
Mhm.
it's such a hard thing to try to walk into a stall knowing a horse can just be like, bitch.
I'm
Ah.
gonna kick you.
Yeah. They
I'm
can
gonna kick
smell
you.
fear.
So
I mean,
yeah,
there's
that's
that they say that they tell you to embody like, that presence where you're confident even if you're not to an animal,
yeah,
You're like, I am the man, I'm the boss, whatever's going on here, And you're just like quote unquote dominate the situation to the animal as far as like what it smells and it won't really want to fuck around as much.
no,
That works to
exactly.
a degree. That works to a degree. And then you
It
run
only
into one
works
of
so
those
far,
smart
like,
horses like Waco. That's not gonna work
oh,
on
they
you.
still know what they can do. Yeah, they know
Well,
what they
Yeah.
can do.
well, it's more so of a respect thing that I've also realized is if
Yeah.
you can get a horse to respect you, they will listen to you through and
This is
through.
true.
Like even if they want to fuck around and find out, then you let them know like, hey, well now you're finding out, and then they're like, okay, I'm sorry, and then you go,
I'm not gonna do
it's
that
all right,
again.
it's all right, you're still a good boy, you're still a good boy, you just had a bad decision, it's okay, you just made
They're
one
kind
bad
of
decision, it's okay.
they're kind of big dogs in a way.
Big old
And
2-year-old is how I like to say.
that's a pretty good
Once you
I
get to
have
the
scaly I
kink.
have a big scaly 2-year-old. You're a knight, you want to see a dragon? I have 4 of them.
Oh, you might
I'll go
not.
grab them real
I'm gonna
quick.
have to. I might have to
Don't
start
slay my
slaying some
dragons.
dragons.
Don't slay my dragon. I
Not
have
our
one in
map.
this tank. You can kind of sort of see her little melon peeking out right there.
Yeah.
Her head's right where my finger is. So that's one. That's my female Savannah
Hello.
monitor.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go get my big boy Bubba real quick. Carrot was down in December and he got to hang out with Bubba.
Oh. And how was
Dude,
that?
Be right back.
really good, man. Like, honestly, this reptile has grown so much over the time that I have known it. It is ridiculous. Like, I remember when it was like what you would call like a fingerling, Like it would fit in the palm of my hand. It was longer than my actual finger, but like tiny little lizard, man. And
Yeah.
now, and like, we went to a bar one time with my mom of all people, me, Tristan, and my mom sitting in a bar, and he brought Bubba in his hoodie, and it sat like kind of perched against his shoulder blade and stuff inside the
Yeah.
hoodie, and was just loving it. He's always been that kind of lizard. He's always just been like, I'm chilling as long as like you're in my area, then I know that like like the lizard straight up is acclimated to Tristan. So wherever Tristan goes, like Bubba's good, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's actually really cool.
yeah, so like we were talking earlier about like, horses being exposed to this or the other or whatever, like Bubba just from an early onset, like whatever was going on and where he was being taken or this or the other, like he was just chilling. He was like, I got my human's warmth, you know? He's always been a good boy. Here he is. Jesus. I was just telling him about the time that you took him when he was super tiny into
Oh
the
my,
bar with me, dude.
oh my big boy.
Yeah.
You big boy.
How much does Bubba weigh now?
Oh, dude, I couldn't tell you. It fluctuates. Just depends on if he has a full stomach or not. Honestly,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he'll eat like a pound of food, man.
the monitors will eat like up to, I think, 75% of their own body weight in a single sitting. Like Komodo dragons. That basically that's kind of what he is. He's like
Jesus.
the little African version of a Komodo, right? Like they'll hunt water buffaloes and kill them. They
Oh
basically
yeah,
do a type
yeah,
of
I have heard
persistence
that.
hunting. They'll bite them in the ankle, and they have a anticoagulant in their saliva, kind of like a venom. That's why they're a venomous lizard. And it'll bleed and bleed, but they'll also get infected and get sepsis. So it's kind of up in the air as to what ultimately kills the water buffalo. Is it blood loss? Is it shock? Is it sepsis? Is it all three? Who knows? But this guy, he eats bugs and the occasional like chicken foot or whatever snack I have for him. But these guys eat bugs. He's my
As
big man.
long as it's protein.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. He's not like your bearded dragon you could give a salad and a few crickets to. It's just bugs. Big spoiled critter. Yeah, this is what I've been up to, dude. Since you were out there becoming a knight, and I'm over here trying to be the next Steve Irwin.
I mean, we need more. His son can't carry the mantle all on his own. Dang.
Indeed.
That
Or
is very true, man. We need more people buying land
Saving the
and
crocs.
saving the planet.
Dude,
I mean,
having big
if you
lizards is
think
kind of
about
like
it,
having
that's
a
how you
dog.
make a Captain Planet. Everybody coming together.
Yep.
See what you did there.
Hey.
Yeah, having these things is like having a dog because they're always shedding. But
Oh
instead of
yeah.
hair, it's just flakes of skin all over the place. Yeah, dude, I love this guy a lot. He's a little bit pissed off because I woke him up from a nap and kind of dragged him out of his cave. But I
He'll
always
deal
like to
with it.
show people I always like to show people Bubba. He's my big baby. But you know, we were saying animals always have different personalities. Well, like this dude, Carrot's interacted with him. He's basically a puppy dog as far as monitors go. Like
Yeah.
he's super
Straight
chill.
up.
I can give him neck scratches. I can pet him on his head. I can pick the shed between his toes if I have to, and he's not really going to give me too much of an issue. That one behind me, Penny,
Yeah.
different story. I can't touch that one. Can't touch that one. I have a foster monitor, same species. His name's Arlo, and he's about this big. Maybe a little bit bigger. And dude, that one's a character because 1 second he's kind of like a cat. You know how sometimes you'll be petting a cat and they'll be all about it. They'll be purring. They'll be appreciating the pets that you give them. And then the next
Yeah.
thing you know, like they just turn around and attack your hand and start scratching you and biting you, and you're like, "What the hell?" That's
Yeah.
Arlo. I love him. He's a cute little guy, but that's
He's
Arlo.
a 50-50.
He's a bipolar little lizard, but I still love him. And then I got a smaller one. He's about this big. Forrest. Forrest is about this big, and Forrest is at that age where like if you can grab him, he kind of just accepts his fate and is just like, all right, just eat me. Are you not gonna eat me? I guess I'm gonna chill if you're not gonna eat me. Like,
Yeah.
are you gonna let me get away? And if you look away from him, he'll try to get away. But that's him. That's him for
If you
now. We'll see what he grows into. Like, hopefully, he grows into a guy like this guy. Because I love having lizards like this, where I can literally I can put him up here like that. I'm I'm not worried about him. I can pick
take
his
him
shit.
wherever he's going.
Yeah. Like
He's just like,
he's
hmm,
my big baby.
Hmm.
Aren't you, buddy?
Meanwhile, Tristan can't handle goats.
I don't like goats.
Handle all these lizards and snakes, man, but he don't like goats.
I don't like
Dude.
goats.
I will not lie to you. I don't mind chickens and roosters and all that, but if you ever have a chicken that has that like weird afro like in front of their eyes that kind of looks like they're blind but they're not, dude,
Like Elvis with that
those
pompadour.
chickens, yeah, like those chickens will come after your soul, my dude.
Mean, bro.
I went
But
to
you know
volunteer at 2 ranches just because after I got the job, I wanted to kind of have like off location horse experience.
Mhm.
And they both had a chicken that had the freaking pompadour like in front of their eyes. And no matter where I would try to go, that chicken would be following me. And if I got too close, would try to nip at my ankles. So I had to wear like high boots, I had to wear some paddings. And then there was one time at one of the ranches, the owner was like, "Hey, so if he ever decides to give you trouble and actually like goes for your ankle and bites you, I give you full permission to punt him like a football." I, I was kind of shocked. I was like, "Wait, you're telling me it's okay to
Kick your
kick
chicken.
your chicken?" And
Well,
she goes, "Yeah, I do it all the time. He needs to learn that if he bites, he's going to get hit."
you're gonna get it, yeah.
And then
I
what?
mean,
And then she goes,
horse or
she
any other
goes,
animal you're gonna nip at.
Not really, not really. But then she goes, "Okay, listen, I'm so confident in you that after you kick him, he's going to leave you alone for the rest of the day. Maybe not tomorrow, but at least for the rest of today, he will leave you alone. I bet you $5." And I was like, this chicken has been giving me trouble for the entire month that I've been here. You know what? Sure, I'll take that bet. Shook on it. Go and do my duties. And then halfway through, the chicken bites the back of my ankle and I feel it through, like not through the boot, but I feel it on my boot, like pinch. And so then I just turn around and I kick him, flapping its wings as it's flying away. But for the rest of the day, it did not bother me. It didn't even come close to me. Like, yeah, it would still be like watching me, but from a distance. Like, he did not try to bother me the rest of the day. So I had to
He
take the
still wanted
$5.
but he didn't
Yeah,
want
he wanted the smoke, but he was like, "Ah, not today. I got to recover for that a little bit, I guess." But I gave her the $5. I am a man of my word. We played a bet and I lost. So
That was
That chicken
hilarious.
still had the soul of a T-Rex in him.
yeah, no, it really did. It was like, motherfucker, I can fuck you up right now. Come my way.
Roosters are wild like that, man. Like I've seen barnyard roosters and videos of like feral ones, and some places that have them fighting
Yeah.
hawks, dude. Like, and they'll win. They will
Yeah.
win. You ever seen a video of a chicken hunting and eating a mouse? It's some Jurassic Park
Yes,
shit, dude.
it really is.
Chickens are vicious. Chickens are so slept on, bro. Like,
Yo,
if chickens were to
related
evolve to be a little bit bigger, we'd be cooked. If the chicken was the size of an ostrich,
Oh,
done.
done.
We'd be done as a species. Like, how are you gonna stop them? There's more chickens on planet Earth, like, than there is humans, because we mass produce them. But if like some alien were to come down and just give them that sauce, you know, that secret steroid chicken sauce, and they all become like, you know, the size of Utah raptors, like in Jurassic Park, we're done. We're done, dude. Done. Those things are so vicious. Like, oh
6-inch
god.
razor sharp talons at that point, man. Like,
Oh, dude, those
Oh my
spurs.
gosh.
Imagine a rooster scaled to the size of a Deinonychus. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the biggest raptor out there. Was a Deinonychus or a Utah raptor? Basically, like the size of what they're depicted as is in Jurassic Park. Big, big.
Yeah.
They're like the velociraptors are technically the size of turkeys, but for some reason Jurassic Park made them the size of a Utah raptor. So imagine a chicken that size with spurs, bro. They'd be like 2.5 feet long. No,
Yeah.
no,
Bro, straight
no,
up,
bro.
I had to verify it. You go and look it up, man. But chickens share common ancestors, so they're like cousins relating back with T-Rex, bro.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yes, his ancestor, like chickens. You'll see that one just mean, grizzled old rooster out in the barnyard that's like fought and beaten coyotes. Like when he stares up into the stars and sees the constellation of the T-Rex looking down at him and saying, "Remember who you are," that rooster returns the call, man. He's out there going, "Hell yeah!" He remembers who he is, man. Those things are, bro. Those things are just
Oh my
savages.
god.
They're
Dude.
imagine a war chicken, dude. Imagine like if it was the size of a Deinonychus and you could ride that bitch into battle, bro.
Oh my god, dude.
Is someone on a horse gonna fuck with you? No, because your fucking Velosa chicken, your Deinona chicken, is gonna eviscerate your Destria that was just bred and trained for hundreds of thousands of gold coins back in the day. No, my war chicken just whooped your fucking Spanish war horse or whatever fancy shit you got. No, no. Those dinner plate sized hooves ain't got nothing on 2.5 foot long spurs that I probably would fuck around and sharpen with some steel caps. You know what I'm saying? Because that's some medieval shit right there.
I was gonna say jousting on a war chicken would be an interesting sight to see. Because
That
not
would be
only would the knights be jousting, but I'm pretty sure the chickens would try to fuck
Bro,
each other up too.
Bro,
definitely
I
go
didn't
at it,
even
bro.
think about that.
Like, dude, if there's I mean, there's already
Oh my gosh.
cockfighting in rings now. You
Oh
know,
my
we can't
God. Imagine,
chicken.
I can't believe
Like
I'm about to
imagine
say
those
this, and we're
size
definitely gonna
animals.
get demonetized for it, but imagine if they put like that that cage fighting that they do in armor. You know, like how dudes will get in the octagon in armor, and that like you took
Yeah.
those giant genetically modified alien chickens and you put it together, bro. I think
Carnage.
I think we need to get a hold of
We do
whoever
not
makes
talk
Jurassic
about
Park
Fight
and
Club.
pitch this.
That'd be a crazy movie, bro.
Oh,
Wouldn't
hey,
it though?
what would be
Would you
the
star as the
title for the
knight?
new Jurassic Park movie? Because it wasn't the new one like A New World or something like that, right?
Oh,
I
I'm
think
not even
so.
sure.
I
There was a
guess
new one that came out.
what if it was like some dystopian future where like humans have like devolved like back to like medieval technology and you really do got like dudes riding into battle on top of like feathered raptors and shit? That would be nuts. And they're all like decked out like a knight, like a medieval knight because the technology devolved.
Yeah,
Jurassic
We're getting
World
that
into
would
some
be an
reboot.
nerdy
interesting.
waters. We're getting into
Hey,
some nerdy
I,
waters. I dig it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. As cool as my job is, if I told you that I'm just getting paid to wear tights and play dress up and then ride a horse and swing a sword at my buddies, it doesn't sound all huzzah. You know, like I mean, yeah, it still sounds cool because I ride horse and swing weapons, but like I am in tights, and it is kind of a nerdy job because you're essentially live action role playing.
Just
The
LARPing for a
excitement is for the
living, man.
crowd, man. The excitement is for
LARPing.
the crowd. The rest of it
Exactly.
is lifestyle. And the reality is that like the crowd sees that excitement every time they're there, but not every waking moment of what you do in there is that level of intensity or energy or like excitement, you know? It's
Yeah.
actually a lot calming and a lot of like, you know, even though it's very intensive work, it tends to be very calming, relaxing, like
Yeah.
not so much chaos going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
Well,
I agree to that. Yeah.
I think we need to touch on some of the weapons work a little bit because man, that's every kid's dream. Like every little boy who's ever picked up a stick and said, "This is my Excalibur,"
Yeah, this is
wants
my
to be
sword.
you. Like I still pick up my kid's wooden sword from the Renaissance Festival, and I'll still fuck around, dude. Like I'll admit that. In fact, let me grab it. I just made the super ghetto axe, but it's pretty bitchin', and sometimes I'll sit in the living room and swing it around like I'm some kind of like Viking berserker, but it's fun. I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you.
All right, bet.
Oh my god, dude. We got to the point where we tried to make a couple of blades at one point. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice, actually.
So it's a masonry trowel,
Mhm.
right? For laying brick. I just cut the tip off. So this is just the tip of a masonry trowel. And then I sharpened it. I took a broom handle and some Sharpies and I kind of just colored it in. And then I chopped it off and put a groove down the center. And then I took some sports tape and some duct tape. And I put the sports tape down here. Oh, and a beer bottle. Can't forget the beer bottle. Beer bottle cap. That's my pommel. My pommel is a beer bottle cap from Mike's Hard Lemonade. It's pretty
Hey, you
bitchin'.
gotta
I
do what
know.
you gotta do to make an
Indeed.
effective weapon.
Yep. And then my top grip up here, duct tape. Bottom grip, sports tape. And what's lashing that blade down? More sports tape and duct tape. And it's surprisingly effective.
You know,
Surprisingly.
I don't know what the boys on Forged in Fire would have to say about the weapon.
It's a piece of shit, but it's cool. It's my piece of shit. It was fun to make, I'll tell you that much.
Well, one thing I can tell you guys about the weapons at medieval times is they are very real. I mean, they're as heavy as you think they look.
I believe it.
Like not just saying with the woodwork, but like we swing a bola or a flail, small and big, um, and they're easy to swing when you have momentum, and it goes
Yep.
all back to the rhythm. Like if you can have good rhythm while you're swinging it, you can make it look like the most deadly weapon out there. But if you don't, then you just look dangerous just because you look dangerous. You know what I mean?
They're just
Dangerous in
inherently
itself.
dangerous, yeah.
It almost seems like an untrained, even though we're not untrained because we're still able to make contact and hit where we need to hit. It just looks messy. While as if you can swing it with good rhythm and have it look like a helicopter blade as you're swinging it over your head, like people are like, "Ooh!" Like you didn't
Yeah.
even hit anything, but just because you went helicopter, helicopter, and it just looks pretty. Everybody's like, "Wow, he's gonna fuck them up."
Yep. But you got to
That's
spin it
sick.
upright. You got to spin it up.
Exactly.
That's sick. Oh, I love it. What's your favorite? What's
My
like out of
favorite
anything you ever picked up, what's your favorite?
My favorite weapon, honestly, would be the alabarda that we have. And that's essentially a two-handed weapon. So think of a spear, but with an axe head at the very top,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm following.
So I like swinging that around because in one of the fights that we use it for, I didn't realize how much of a purpose such a long weapon with an axe head actually has when it comes to combat. Because not only do you have the offense with the axe head, but you have such a long stick like where you can move your hands around. So if you know they're coming in and chopping you in the head, you spread your hands out as wide as you possibly can. And would you look at that? You have a long bar that protects your head from the sword
Overhead
coming through.
strikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
There
like
you
if they're
go.
coming from the side, you can use that same tactic, but on the side, you put the one end down and just kind of stand back. Boom, you block it. Like if they're going for your legs, you swing the axe head down and you hit the blade and knock it away from you. Like there's so much purpose for offense and defense with that weapon. And I didn't realize how effective that weapon is until I started actually using it in the show.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And
Carrot, what would your be? What's your weapon of choice? I kind of want to do a little round table here and compare what we'd all pick.
Oh man, I mean, if I could actually like ride and do other stuff like that, I'd probably be most excited to actually do some jousting, the giant
Mhm.
jousting pole and splinter off when I actually hit the guy's shield, but
Hit a dude with a lance.
if I was actually gonna have like a day-to-day weapon of choice, I suppose, like if we're still having swords and stuff, I would probably have like a small sword or a rapier. Um like a modest handguard size because I want it to be like, you know,
Mhm.
almost period appropriate, like manageable for me to like carry around and not be too much, but like I can whip that bitch out and still fight.
yeah,
Makes sense. I'd choose a falx. You know what a falx is?
I think so.
I'm gonna have to
So
look this up.
it's something that it actually like this is one of the weapons. It was used by a tribe in Europe back in the Roman period, and this is one of the few weapons that like shook the Roman legions because their armor, their shields, their equipment wasn't ready for it, nor were they like ready for the dudes who wielded them. So what a falx basically is it is a imagine imagine a broom handle basically, right? And mounted on top of that, like the handle of the weapon is about 3 feet long, and then the blade itself is about 3 feet long also. And you can also have the handle be a little bit longer than the blade, but the handle is always going to be as long as or longer than the blade itself. And then you have the
Oh
blade
wow.
up top, which curves up and
It's
then down.
almost like a scythe, but instead of the scythe blade being fixed sideways at the end,
It's facing
like
up.
think it just continues
Yep.
to go straight,
But it
or
still, yeah, it still
straight
has
and
that
curved. I mean, it's
curve.
still got
Yeah.
that curve to it, but
But this is
Ah,
kind of how the
yeah.
blade's shaped, and
So,
it still has that inward curve. So imagine
yo,
like you
that's
have
nasty for poking over top of people.
over
Like,
shields, and you can hit dudes in
dude,
the
yeah.
helmet. You can get over the shield and on the helmet, and you're just
Like,
splitting helmets.
think how you would use your broom today to like hit the neighbor's dog over the fence. I mean, I wasn't doing that. But that same motion, that
yeah,
same
Yeah,
motion,
that
what I
downward
mean? Like
chop.
to get over the 4 foot wall with the broom, but at the end, instead of bristles, you got like another 3 foot like
Mhm.
scythe blade.
It kind of sort of like forms. It serves some of the same functions as that axe you're talking about. Not as long by any means, not as long, but it still gives you reach, and you can get
yeah,
over shields. You can get over shields, and once you get it over the shield, that curve in the blade itself, well, you can use that as a hook. Now you can pull down the shield, and your buddy to your left or right can now get inside the shield wall of the Legion because the Legion fights in a shield wall, right?
yeah,
They'd pull the shield down, and then they'd be able to make a breach in the shield wall and just start getting in there and stabbing legionaries with their falxes and short spears and daggers. That you can actually date Roman legionary equipment back to this time period because they had to change their helmets. They had to reinforce them with extra bands of metal so the falx would stop piercing them as easily. And they also had to rework the Roman shield. They had to reinforce them with more metal bands over the top of the shield so the falx would stop splitting them because it would hit the shield and not just stop, but split down into the shield
Yeah.
and hit the legionary's arm, and then still hit the dudes in the head with that nasty curve on the top of the
yeah,
head.
yeah.
That would
Wow.
be my weapon of choice
And
because
and
it's
in the
extremely
period, the
versatile,
metal tended to bite into the other metal a lot more
harder.
instead of just
Yeah,
glancing off of it like they would
Yeah,
hardened steel and stuff. And
Mhm.
so you'd get a lot of like, as soon as it makes contact and bites into that shield, like they've effectively dented it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, and it was mass produced, just like a lot of the equipment that modern militaries use. Is it the greatest by any means? God, no, not for a Texas Mile. No, no.
Texas
Will it do the
Mile.
job? Yeah. Will it do the job? Yes, it'll do the job, but not the most efficiently.
Not the
That's
same.
modern.
It's not the
Yeah,
same.
that's military grade equipment for you. It was just the same for the Romans as it is for us today. They literally had to rework their equipment and like issue new shit so these guys could stay alive against the guys who were using these falxes. And once the Legion finally wiped these guys out, they took away all the extra shit because they didn't need it anymore. They didn't need that extra weight. The legionaries needed to be light so they could go on all their escapades and cruise around. The legionary was effective because he was light and he could move around. So
Yeah.
they stripped all that weight off, and that's how you can date Roman Legion artifacts. If you see it with that extra stuff, you see a shield with extra metal, a helmet with extra metal, it was because of that war. And that weapon, that one weapon,
Hmm.
changed
That
the
is
Legion
wild.
and how they fought. Yeah.
And that's why
Wow.
you'd pick them. I mean, it's that effective. So
That's why I picked it. Like historically speaking, but also like if you think about it, dude, it's a really versatile weapon.
it'll be
It's
effective today as a weapon and a tool, man.
Well, yeah, they used it as tools too. That's why they were so effective. Just like Vikings
Yeah,
with their axes, it was not just a weapon to them; it was an everyday tool that they used. So
that was
that's why they were so effective with it. It was an extension of themselves, essentially.
they brought it to the battlefield, but they already knew how to use it because it's
Mhm.
just their blade of choice. Like that's how they effectively use it.
Indeed.
Breaking down reviews, got the hottest takes. Dropping all the scoop like a chef serve cakes. Tune in every week, you know what to do. Join the Hobby Hangout, we got room for you. Grab your headphones, kick back, relax. We got the stories, true facts to the max. From east to west, we got the whole globe wrapped. Tristan and Connor got this podcast talking about hobbies, baby, every single show. Chilling with the best, let the good vibes flow. Hobby Hangers, here time to unwind. Let Tristan and Connor ease your mind.